Welcome to video 3 of Creating Your Professional Portfolio. In this video, you will learn about one of the most important portions of your portfolio, self-assessments. Self-assessments are the cornerstone of your professional portfolio. Self-assessments critically present your teaching, professional activity and development, and service during a particular evaluation period. They are presented in narrative form and are supported by evidence or documentation. By using this method of narrative and evidence, you have the opportunity to tell your own story of your work and accomplishments and to persuade your audiences that you are meeting or exceeding institutional expectations for your academic rank. There are two types of self-assessment: formal reviews and informal evaluations. Formal reviews, which take place each year in the pre-tenure period and every 3 years after achieving tenure, ask for a detailed self-assessment in teaching, professional activity and development, and service, as well as specifically addressing your Form 1 goals for the evaluation period. Informal evaluations take place in the years post-tenure that do not require a formal review. In these years, you will reflect on your Form 1 goals in your portfolio and meet with your academic supervisor. Let's look at the self-assessment requirements for formal reviews more closely. The first element of this self-assessment is a critical self-reflection of your Form 1 goals. Next, the self-assessment examines teaching with uploaded syllabi, reports of teaching observations, student evaluations, and written responses to the 3 questions listed here. The teaching observation process and deadlines are detailed in the Full-Time Faculty Handbook on Compensation and Workload in Appendix 4. Next, you'll provide a list of all professional activity and development that you have engaged in during the evaluation period. This should be accompanied by a response to the question you see here. Then, the self-assessment includes a list of your service activities for the evaluation period, and then finally, a statement of priorities for the next evaluation period, which will inform your Form 1 goals. You can see the relevant institutional documents for formal review self-assessments, and remember to check with the Faculty Handbook Appendix 4 for these documents, the process, and evaluation guidelines. For the informal evaluation self-assessment, you will upload a self-assessment of your Form 1 goals and a statement of priorities for the next evaluation period. Because the self-assessment includes critical self-reflections, it is necessary to use narrative and evidence. For some, the term narrative might feel intimidating, but try to think of it as just telling the story of your work so that your thinking and decisions are clear to your audience. A straightforward way of approaching it might be, I did this, here's why I did this, here's how it went. Then I did this, here's why I did this, here's how it went, and so on. Then as you are writing the narrative, be sure to include evidence for your stories in the form of documentation. You can find samples of evidence on the handout Recommended Types of Evidence for Faculty Professional Portfolios in this module.